Forget the brooding shadows, discard the grim vigilante. In 1966, the Caped Crusader didn't stalk the night. He exploded onto television screens in a dizzying kaleidoscope of primary colors, a symphony of onomatopoeic violence, and a riot of theatrical absurdity. Batman wasn't just a television show. It was a seismic event, a pop art phenomenon that detonated across the cultural landscape, redefining heroism with a knowing wink and a vibrant, pulsating rhythm. It was a deliberate, brilliant subversion of the burgeoning superhero genre, a playful yet profound commentary on comic book conventions, and an audacious invitation for audiences to embrace the wonderfully ridiculous. This was a Gotham City where the only thing more outlandish than the villains were the heroes' unwavering earnestness, creating a unique comedic alchemy that continues to fascinate and delight, proving that sometimes the most profound statements are made with a giant, grinning, purple-clad clown. At the very heart of Batman's unparalleled impact was its revolutionary pop art aesthetic and visual language. The show didn't just depict a comic book world. It became a living, breathing comic book, rendered in dazzling, almost hallucinogenic hues. Every scene was meticulously framed like a panel, with vibrant, often clashing, colors dominating the screen: the bold reds of the bat signal, the electric greens of the Riddler's suit, the lurid purples of the Joker's grin. This wasn't accidental. It was a conscious artistic choice by producer William Dozier and director Robert Butler to emulate the vibrant, kinetic energy of the contemporary comic books, bringing their two-dimensional dynamism to life. And then there were the on-screen sound effects, those iconic POW, BAM, ZAP, and WHACK. Graphics that punctuated every fight scene, transforming mere fisticuffs into an explosive, choreographed ballet of visual and auditory delight. These were not just stylistic flourishes. They were integral to the show's unique comedic signature, reminding viewers that they were watching a heightened reality, a playful exaggeration of heroism. The visual artistry extended to every facet of the production. The tilted camera angles, famously known as Dutch angles, distorted perspectives during villainous scenes, creating a sense of unease and eccentricity that perfectly mirrored the warped minds of Batman's foes. The dynamic opening credits, with their rapid-fire cuts, iconic theme music, and bold titles, instantly set the tone for the spectacle to follow. Even the sets and costumes were designed with a deliberate flat, almost two-dimensional quality, as if lifted directly from the pages of a comic book. The Batcave, despite its impressive size, retained a stylized, almost painted quality, while the Batmobile, a sleek, jet-powered marvel, was a work of art in itself. This immersive visual language wasn't just pleasing to the eye. It was a key component of the show's comedic genius, creating a universe where the absurd was presented with utmost conviction, inviting the audience to lean into the playful unreality. Underneath this glittering veneer of pop art lay the show's deeply sophisticated camp humor and deliberate theatricality. Batman was not a show that accidentally became funny. It was funny by meticulous design. Its camp wasn't born of incompetence, but of a highly intelligent, self-aware understanding of its own absurdity. The humor stemmed from the stark contrast between the outlandish situations and the utterly earnest, deadpan delivery of its heroes. Batman and Robin treated every preposterous scheme, every ridiculous trap, and every absurd piece of dialogue with the gravitas of a life-or-death opera. This theatricality was amplified by the exaggerated performances, the dramatic pauses, the knowing glances, and the often verbose, moralizing lessons delivered by Batman himself, turning mundane observations into profound philosophical statements. The repetitive gags, like the bat ladder ascend, descend, or the increasingly bizarre escape plans from villainous death traps, became cherished rituals for viewers, building a shared language of humor that transcended simple punchlines. This was comedy that worked on multiple levels, delighting children with its action and bright colors, while subtly winking at adults with its sharp wit and clever parody. This delicate balance of earnestness and absurdity was perfectly embodied by its dynamic duo, Adam West as Batman, Bruce Wayne, and Burt Ward as Robin, Dick Grayson. At the very heart of this glorious, self-aware spectacle stood Adam West, not merely as an actor playing a part, but as the very embodiment of the show's audacious vision. His portrayal of Batman and his alter ego, Bruce Wayne, was a comedic tightrope walk, a masterclass in deadpan delivery that somehow made the utterly ridiculous feel utterly logical within the show's own heightened reality. West's Batman was never in on the joke, and that was precisely the joke. He was the unwavering paragon of virtue, the living embodiment of civility and moral rectitude, delivering absurd pieces of wisdom, like the importance of wearing seatbelts or the dangers of jaywalking, with the gravitas of a Shakespearean soliloquy. Every dramatic pause, every stiff, almost mannequin-like gesture, every perfectly enunciated old chum or indeed, commissioner was a carefully calibrated comedic beat. West's unique take on the character became so iconic that, for a generation, his portrayal was Batman, defining the hero with a sense of wholesome, yet profoundly amusing, earnestness that sharply contrasted with later, darker interpretations. By his side, the eternally enthusiastic and often baffled sidekick was Burt Ward as Robin, Dick Grayson. Ward's Robin was the perfect foil to West's stoicism. His constant cries of "holy something" became a signature element of the show, a bewildered yet loyal exclamation for every new villainous contraption or baffling predicament. Ward brought an athletic energy to the role, complementing West's more deliberate movements, and his genuine wide-eyed wonder mirrored the audience's own. The chemistry between West and Ward was undeniable, a seamless blend of mentorship, unwavering loyalty, and shared commitment to justice, no matter how ridiculous the situation. Their partnership felt authentic, a father-son dynamic rooted in mutual respect and a shared if somewhat skewed moral compass. They were not just crime fighters, they were a comedic duo whose timing and interplay were as precise as any vaudeville act, anchoring the show with their unwavering belief in the absurd world they inhabited. Thinking about how Adam West and Burt Ward perfected this unique comedic tightrope walk, making the utterly outlandish feel completely earnest, truly highlights their genius. If you're fascinated by the art of comedic performance and how actors can elevate a show beyond its script, then you're on the right Bat frequency. Hit that subscribe button to join our Bat channel for more explorations of iconic performances and the magic they brought to classic TV. But what is a hero without a truly spectacular rogues gallery? And in Batman, the villains weren't just antagonists. They were flamboyant, scene-stealing divas, a veritable constellation of Hollywood stars embracing the camp with unbridled glee. This wasn't merely casting. It was an event, a weekly theatrical showcase where iconic actors vied to out-absurd each other, often stealing scenes with their over-the-top antics and distinct interpretations. Cesar Romero's Joker, a terrifying force of chaotic glee, Romero famously refused to shave his mustache, allowing it to remain visible beneath his white clown makeup, a subtle, yet rebellious, nod to the show's self-awareness. His cackling laugh and manic energy made him a truly unforgettable villain. Frank Gorshin's Riddler, a whirlwind of manic energy, Gorshin's performance was a masterclass in physical comedy and frenetic intensity. His cackling, his exaggerated movements, and his insistence on leaving bewildering clues made him a constant, delightful challenge for the dynamic duo. Burgess Meredith's Penguin, with his squawking laugh, signature cigarette holder, and waddling gait, Meredith embodied the dapper, yet utterly villainous, bird-like criminal. His portrayal was so iconic, it influenced future iterations of the character. Julie Newmar's Catwoman, seductive, sly, and possessing a feline grace, Newmar's Catwoman brought a captivating allure and playful villainy to the screen. Her chemistry with Adam West's Batman was palpable, adding a layer of romantic tension to the capers. These guest villains, often appearing in two-part episodes, were the show's secret weapon, attracting massive viewership and ensuring that every week offered a fresh dose of bizarre and memorable villainy. Their elaborate, often nonsensical, schemes provided the perfect canvas for Batman and Robin's earnest deductions and daring escapes, fueling the show's perpetual motion machine of absurdity. The music and soundscape of Batman were just as vital to its identity as its visuals. Neil Hefti's iconic theme song, with its instantly recognizable, brass-heavy riff and the driving Batman chant, was an auditory explosion that perfectly encapsulated the show's energetic, larger-than-life tone. It became a cultural touchstone, instantly summoning images of rapid-fire action and colorful heroism. Beyond the opening, the show's musical underscore expertly built tension, heightened comedic moments, and underscored the dramatic entrances of the villains. Coupled with the aforementioned on-screen sound effects, the auditory experience of Batman was immersive and unforgettable, turning a simple television viewing into a multi-sensory adventure. It was a rhythmic and melodic backdrop that encouraged viewers to clap along, to anticipate the next POW, and to fully surrender to the show's unique world. When we consider how a show managed to bring such vivid characters and a distinct world to life through every creative choice, it's truly remarkable. If you appreciate when every element of a production, from the theme song to the color palette, works in perfect harmony to create something truly unique, then you're on the right track. Don't miss out on more explorations of shows where every creative decision landed with a zap. Make sure you've subscribed to join our deep dives into television's most iconic creations. Batman's initial run sparked a national obsession known as Batmania, a testament to its explosive popularity. Kids flocked to toy stores, merchandise flew off shelves, and the show's catchphrases became ubiquitous in everyday conversation. This level of cultural saturation was unprecedented for a superhero adaptation and firmly cemented the show's place in the pantheon of pop culture phenomena. However, its success also had a complex and often debated lasting legacy on the character of Batman himself. For a significant period, the show's campy, lighthearted image was the predominant image of Batman for the general public, overshadowing the darker, more serious comic book roots. This led to a subsequent effort by comic book creators to distance the character from the show's tone, pushing him back towards his darker origins. Yet, despite this initial backlash from some purists, the 1966 Batman series holds an undeniable and often celebrated place in pop culture history. It proved that superhero storytelling could be fun, self-aware, and accessible to a mass audience without sacrificing its core mythology, even if that mythology was filtered through a brightly colored, exaggerated lens. Its influence can be seen in later comedic superhero adaptations, parodies, and even in the subtle moments of levity found in otherwise serious comic book films. It taught an entire generation that heroism could be both earnest and utterly ridiculous, that villains could be terrifying and hilarious, and that a splash of vibrant color could sometimes speak volumes more than a shroud of darkness. The show's enduring cult status, its rediscovery by new generations who appreciate its cleverness and charm, and its frequent appearance in best of lists for its sheer cultural impact, all testify to its timeless appeal. It was more than a TV show. It was a cultural event, a masterclass in controlled chaos, and a brilliant, unforgettable piece of pop art that continues to resonate with its vibrant, explosive energy. As we turn off the bat signal and reflect on this singular show, it's clear that Batman 1966 to 1968 was a triumph of audacious vision, expert comedic timing, and unforgettable performances. It wasn't just a TV show, it was a phenomenon, a brilliantly self-aware piece of pop art that embraced its absurdity with gusto and left an indelible mark on television, comedy, and the very concept of heroism itself. Now, brave citizens, the floor is yours. What are your most cherished Bat memories? Who was your favorite villain to watch, and why? What do you think is the show's greatest contribution to television or pop culture? Share your Bat thoughts, favorite catchphrases, and crime-fighting insights in the comments section below. Let's discuss why this iconic show still brings a smile to our faces.